Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily, Monday motivation. Who's up for a brand new week? Hope you've had a great weekend. I've had a pretty good weekend. Really enjoyed last week, particularly the back end. Felt like I got myself stuck into DOdaily again, so really pleased. Felt as though I was doing a good job with that towards the end of the week. Put a bit of pressure on myself, but by being away, by having that little bit of extra time, made me feel really good about what I was doing. So couldn't wait to get back on today. Speak about the weekend, speak about what's coming up this week, try and check out how people are getting on, try and encourage what we've got to offer. It's really important to keep passing on that message. Of course, last week we had the reintroduction of local lockdowns. It looks like the situation is going to get a little bit worse this week, but really important just to keep going, keep doing the things we do, keep working within the rules and the regulations, keep getting that activity, and that's the most important thing, isn't it? Despite the fact I feel great, I've got up today, been busy, got bogged down with one or two things, sat down for a while, needed to get myself back up. So getting out right now, getting a walk in, I'm in familiar surroundings again down by the river. I just found a little nice part of the Victoria Gardens just to sort of stand and do the videos. So really pleased I've got out, and I'm really looking forward to the not a boot camp session I do on a Monday evening with some of the guys locally. It's just a small group, we can work within the rules, so that's really important to keep doing that. And I want to really start with that this week. A couple of times doing this, people will ask me questions, ask why I'm doing this, why I'm doing that. Almost felt a couple of times in the last couple of weeks I've been questioned about what I've been doing, but I can assure you anything I do is within the rules. Went away last week, it's absolutely within the rules. I was actually due to start with my parents, but thankfully my parents gave up a couple of days, so we didn't cross over into the new rules. So all we did was sort of do what we had to do, and it's important to do that, isn't it? Not scrap everything, not forget everything we're doing, not sort of go that extra mile all the time to beat the rules, but just to work within them. It is frustrating, it is really frustrating for me personally, but put across this message of positivity, because that's what I try and be, and I've got to want to be positive, I've got to want to be happy, I've got to want to do the things I'm doing, because if we down tools and forget about everything we've planned, we're going to whip ourselves up into a frenzy and let it get to us much quicker than it would than if we try and do the things we do, if we try and approach it with a smile on the face, with positivity, and with lots to look forward to. And there is lots to look forward to. Of course, I try and encourage activity. That's been the one ever present for all this. Activity's always been available, even in the strictest of lockdowns. The government was advising and recommending, and what we do is offer plenty of that. Of course, I'll come on to that shortly. But for me personally, I would go... Most days I go out for activity, I go to work, I go out doing my activity, I might look into a bit about what I'm doing with DOdaily. Nothing really changes there, and somebody also labelled at me, well nothing's changed for you. Believe me, things have really changed for us. COVID's affected us so much, it's really changed everything. Not all for the bad, but lots of... We've really suffered the negative impact, so... what I'm trying to get to is these people labelling, making certain accusations, getting frustrated. Again, I'm using me as an example, I'm not getting the violin out. It's not always as straightforward as it seems, is it? Unless people are talking, asking questions, asking the right questions, creating those conversations, it's not always easy to understand how people are dealing with things and how they're dealing with it properly. And that's important to remember, it's really important to remember that everybody deals with this differently. They deal with getting motivated, they deal with the coronavirus, they deal with mental health, all in different ways, and we have to remember that, and we have to be a little bit more understanding. I'd like to think I am, but on the whole, I can see a lot of frustration starting to sort of set in. People questioning why we would do this, why you would do that. It's just about just keep pushing on. You know, with these stricter lockdowns, the one thing we can do is try and look after ourselves. If we look after ourselves, generally we end up looking after other people as well. You know, we end up feeling better about ourselves, we end up doing a lot more. And it's so easy to blame COVID or lockdown on not doing something or not being able to do something. But there's lots of times in my life where I've had to experience sort of locking myself away because I don't want to come out, you know. And I know lots of people who close down when they're not feeling great, who won't talk to people, who won't sort of come out of that shout. And it's just important to remember we can't blame the situation on everything. We've got to help ourselves, we've got to be positive, and we've got to keep moving forward. Of course, we here at DOdaily, through Do Running, what I try to do is offer plenty of activity. Of course, I'm out tonight. I've mentioned they're not a boot camp. I'm out for a walk at the moment. The nights are drawing in, so it's getting tough. Motivation's getting a little bit more difficult for everyone. But what you can do is get out there and get involved as much as you can. Do you know, tomorrow we've got the Tuesday training, the City Slickers Solidarity session. Lots to look forward to there. The guys always get involved in decent numbers, do you know, and it's just working off the back of a group. We'd work in normal times whilst I miss that, do you know, and I really do. What we're doing is making the most of a situation, still trying to work together as a team, still getting out there and getting active. And it also gives a choice. In normal times it's a running group, but right now we can make it about what we want. Just knowing people are out there does the trick. On Wednesday, we've got the Wednesday workout through the Do Running Trent Bridge group. I'm carrying the challenge over from last week. So the challenge is actually to challenge a friend, you know, just to add that little bit of accountability. Hopefully people will get involved in the spirit it's intended, you know, just to add that accountability, not to go and challenge people to run a marathon or to do something ridiculous, you know. Even if it's just meeting up to go for a walk, meeting up to go for a run, not necessarily meeting up. Of course, if you do that, it all has to be done safely and in the correct manner, but it's not against the rules, so it is still possible to do that and not to be frowned upon like I've touched on before. And then Thursday, really enjoyed Thursday Thoughts last week. I thought it was one of my best videos, so please check that out. Somebody who's quite critical of themselves, who admits all the time I'm getting out of my comfort zone, I was actually quite proud of that one, so I wasn't shy in saying that, you know. I was really pleased with it. I was pressed into a situation where I had to talk in front of others. It's not something I do, even though I'm talking to others. It's not something I do a lot, so I was in a confined space. I was talking in front of others, trying to give over my opinion. So I was really pleased with that. And again, that's put me in a positive frame of mind. You know, sometimes just being forced into a situation, if you're prepared to face it and accept it and take it on board, you know, you might just come out of it okay. What I will say about that is thank you for the questions. Really appreciate them as ever. You know, that's what makes the Thursday, your questions. You know, giving me something to go at, asking my opinion, asking my advice. Not trying to trip anyone up, not trying to get too technical or too into everything. Just little bits of information that might help, that might encourage people, that might motivate and inspire. Those are the two words I've used throughout here, and that's what I'm really looking to do. You know, and I'm looking through all these sessions for people to motivate and inspire each other. Of course, on a Tuesday and Wednesday I ask you guys to post up the pictures, just like the Saturday selfie. You know, we had that at the weekend, absolutely fantastic again, some great input, lots of people about, make for colourful social media posts, you know, and it just lets others know that we're doing things, you know, and they've got the opportunity as well to do them too. So if you can do that, that'd be great. And then of course Friday I'll be out somewhere, wake up to walk. Really enjoyed last week. Then waves crashing up against the wall behind me made me feel a little bit on edge again, but it was absolutely fantastic. And to get to see the sunrise, it didn't quite show in the video, but to get to see the sunrise over the sea, You know, it was absolutely beautiful and an amazing place to go. So what I'll do, I'll look to get out somewhere locally again. You know, as you can see behind me right now, all the colours of autumn, the leaves are on the floor. I'm going to take some pictures where I am right now. It looks absolutely amazing. One of the reasons I love living where I do, by the River Trent, you know, whatever the season, it looks absolutely fantastic, and it's definitely worth getting out. Of course, the summer's amazing to get out for a nice warm walk and on the light nights, but when winter comes, all we need to do is get wrapped up and just be a little bit more selective about what time we go. And it's just about sort of planning that in, isn't it? You know, planning things in, making that small change. You know, everything's changing right now, but we've got to be prepared to change with it. I put a post through the Do Running closed Facebook group today about change, and nothing changes if we don't change. You know, if you want to be happy, it's really important just to consider what's happening. If you were going out later on in the evening or really early in the morning in the summer, you know, just consider other times. Just think when you can do it. Can you do it with people? You know, whilst the restrictions in, a bit of a recurring theme today, that it is still possible, you know, as long as you do it correctly. And that's what's really important. All those things are there just for a safe space, you know, somewhere to go, see what other people are doing, you know, see what I'm saying. You know, it doesn't always make sense, it's not always wonderfully insightful, but it's just to show that we're carrying on regardless of what the situation throws at us, regardless of what it might throw at us as the week goes on and into next week and into the winter season. You know, like I say, we can always find a way to make it work. We can always just slightly readjust, and we can always do the things we do. There's lots of things I'd love to do right now. You know, I'd love to go to the football. I'd love to go to some of the cricket or the sport. All the sport I love doing, but I can't do that. But I can still do the things I love doing. You know, in terms of DOdaily, in terms of getting out, getting active, and in terms of trying to adapt to new things. You know, learning. That's what I want to do all the time. Use the time constructively to make the most of a bad situation, and I think that's really important. You know, as ever, Monday's about getting G'd up for the week, looking forward to those sessions, giving it a real go. You know, whatever's gone before is gone. You know, it's water under a bridge now. It's time to sort of start pushing forward. You know, getting on top of the situation. Get that kit on tomorrow, 6:30, usual time. Those yellow t-shirts. I'd love to see some people around where I am. I know the big bulk of the Do Running community live in this area, but it's open to absolutely everybody. Do you know? And as the week goes on, there'll be further little insights to what we're doing. Do you know? Just with the hope of keeping spirits high, keeping people on top of it, and giving it a real go. I for one, certainly looking forward to it. Just before I go, got the opportunity yesterday. Just proves there is things out there to run an actual real race, and that was absolutely fantastic. Me and Kay always look to find at least one a year where we just do it together. Of course, we share the same passion in terms of running and taking part in these events, and Kay managed to find that a few months ago, so we took that on board. You know, it managed to survive when everything else has been cancelled. So just keep your eyes out for things, guys. I got so much from it. To see people out there, the event itself was organised fantastically well. It was seamless. It didn't feel like there was a COVID situation, despite the fact everybody was really adhering to the rules and everybody had face masks on. But it felt fantastic. I did a 10-mile run, my first big one since that London Marathon, virtual effort. So to do it in real circumstances, to get the medal, to cross that finishing line once again, just shows that we're making progress, and where these things can come back, it's important to be ready, to get involved, to give it a real go. And I think that's a real fillet for this week, you know, just to be prepared for when things change. You know, easy to slump back and say, well, this is the way it's going to be. You know, like I say, unless you make change yourself, your outlook's not going to change, what you do is not going to change. It's really, really important. I touched on at the end of last week about accepting rather than expecting, and a little bit of accepting is just preparing yourself, putting yourself into good habits and routines and getting ready for when we can expect it again. We shouldn't take things for granted these days, so get out there today. If you still can, never miss a Monday. If not, there's those next 2 days coming up. Events are posted in the closed Facebook group. Check them out, click that you're attending, make that commitment. It's so important. For now, guys, I'm going to get this uploaded and get out again, just doing it.